fun. Here we are inside Acacia and Floristics, and just tell us a little bit about yourself, Rebecca, and let's take these off so people know who we really are. And as you said, our secret identities have been revealed.
Yes. Yes, we recently moved, my family and I, into Lake Wildwood. We purchased a home and are very excited about laying down roots and becoming a part of the community here.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Rebecca. Now, let's talk a little bit about your floral and art interests. Have you always been interested in these specialties?
Yes, ever since I can remember. When I was a child sitting in school at the end of a nice long summer, which now they seem to be amazingly short, the teacher would say, "All right, students, sit down and write about something. Anything. It can be anything at all." And the only thing I would think of was flowers. Oh, I'm going to write about flowers.
Okay, very good.
And then that love stayed with me. And by the time I was in my early 20s, I had taken a job assisting a floral designer in Portland, Oregon, where I grew up, and have just been learning ever since.
Oh, very good. Mm-hmm. Have you always, did you have any other formal training, or is this just an instinct that got you into designing floral, and why did you get involved with kids and adults at the same time?
Yeah, well, most florists learn on the job. You can go to design school. I have studied a number of different art styles, worked with many different mediums, everything from clay and ceramics to painting and oils and acrylic, watercolor, and I also was led not only to flowers but children, as that was my other main interest, working with children. And I'm trained as a Waldorf teacher, and I've worked in private and public Waldorf schools. And I have also set up art programs for resident children's summer camps. I've done that at a number of different camps and wanted to bring the camp experience of art to children and also adults, because I really feel that you can never stop learning from the process of doing and working with color and texture, and art really is, it's the expression of our experience.
That's good. Now, do you do a combination of real flowers and artificial flowers? And if the artificial flowers are used, do you make them, or?
I bring fresh flowers in, and if a customer were to want an arrangement done in silk or dried flowers, I would be very happy to do that for them.
You said you bring arrangements in. Where do you get them?
The flowers I do the arrangements, and the flowers are brought in from various sources. There are local flowers.
Oh, good. You use our local.
Local flowers when I can. Of course, they're only blooming, through part of the year here. Mm-hmm. But I take advantage of that, and I go down to the flower market often and handpick flowers.
Very good. And can you tell us what your hours of operation are and what days you're open?
But right now, I'm open every day except Sunday. And the hours are a little bit different each day, so you really have to check.
Okay. And then do the children and the adults, I understand you work with children as well as adults, do they have a set criteria or an outline of what you want them to do when they come in?
Well, my vision for Acacia has not been fully born yet.
Work in progress.
Yes, and what I need probably another $5,000 to $10,000 to fulfill my vision, so hopefully I'll get there. The idea is to create Acacia as what I would call an art gym, a place where you can have a low-cost membership to come in and use the space and essentially check equipment out to do a certain project that you have already had a class in, so you know what you're doing here at Acacia, or if you have prior knowledge. So say you want to make paper, you would come in and say, oh, I'd like to make paper today, and you come and I pull the big bin of everything that you need to make paper. And then you would go about your project and you would just pay whatever it costs for those materials.
Okay, when you say make paper, do you mean, do you mean something like this?
No.
No? What do you mean by paper?
I mean actual paper, so art paper. So you make the pulp out of, it could be recycled paper materials or that you bring in yourself even, but you require a high power blender for doing this and time for soaking the pulp. And then you might want a certain color paper. You're going to add colors to it. You might want glitter in there. You might want rose petals in there, geranium petals, what have you.
Do you guide them? Do you guide them in creating these things? Do you have like something they could use as, for example, you could make something like this, or do they just do it freeform, whatever comes to their mind?
When I offer a class in something, that will be a set step-by-step process, and we do it together, and you would learn. If you are someone who already knows how to do it, you would just be able to come in and do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many students are in each of your classes?
That really varies on the class. So there are a lot of different offerings. That's actually a hard question to answer because.
So you don't have a limit, like you can only.
Oh, there is a limit.
Okay.
The rooms are only so big, and I only have so many supplies. So, for example, in the 3 adult art classes that I'm offering this month so far, have limits set on them. So, string art, the limit is 12. We need a minimum of 5 people to run it. The paper wreath making, which we could show that to you later.
Okay.
That has a limit of 12, minimum of 5 to run it. And then paper marbling, I have a limit set at 10. And the reason I set it at 10 is because we'll be marbling on silk scarves. And it takes a very large tray to work with. And so we'll be sharing that one. We'll all have individual trays for working with the paper. So it really it depends on the art, and it depends on space and
how
supplies.
About the children?
For the children, I haven't set any limits. I did set a limit for the summer art camps because I think having a number larger than 12 with just myself doing art projects would be too many. Okay,
so that's my next question. Do you work alone, or do you have someone that assists you?
I largely work alone right now in teaching classes, but I do have an assistant who helps me during toddler time.
Okay.
And you can see back here, this was created just this week by a group of toddlers. And
how do they do that? Do they just get paint on their hands and do that, or do they get
So this was actually done with their feet.
Their feet? So this was on the floor?
Yeah, we taped this to the floor, and I had large trays of different colors of paint, tempera paint, set out. It washes off the floor very easily.
And washes off their feet,
and
too.
And it washes off of them pretty easily.
I'm sure their moms are happy with that.
It's non-toxic, etc.
Oh, very good.
So, and then I put bubble wrap around their feet.
Oh. Okay.
And then they walked around, and they would sort of snap around at the same time.
See some of them.
And there are a few places where you can see that. But there was enough paint that it just sort of,
Oh, that would be fun. It's like walking through a water puddle.
They loved doing it.
Yeah.
They had so much fun. It's just smiles and, walking around, choosing a different color. And I always have multiple activities going on for them.
Oh,
so, for example, the same day that we did this, we also played with homemade Play-Doh that I made. We had the 3 colors, which then, of course, allowed us to make the whole rainbow from those colors. And we also, what was the 3rd thing we did? Oh, we did salt paintings.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with salt painting. Now tell me about these.
These were another toddler time activity.
A toddler activity?
Yes, they look
Really?
quite advanced. Well, they didn't
Yeah.
do everything.
So
okay,
cool.
so
Yeah.
they're limited in what they can do, but I think it's all about exposure and having fun. And so the part that they got to do was taking a plain piece of paper and putting little splotches of paint, and then the paper gets folded in half and the paint gets spread out
Oh, I
as
see.
you sort of squish it down, so it creates a perfect mirror.
Opposite sides.
Yeah. And then I just took, a piece of cereal box and cut the eye holes out, and then
Clever.
glued this to there,
Yeah.
put on some elastic, and it just makes
Ready
a
to
fun,
go.
sturdy, and this is nice sturdy cardstock,
Yes,
so
it is.
it won't get destroyed
So-
too quickly, but
You provide all the supplies then?
Yes.
And that's included in the fee
yes,
that you charge
it's
for?
all inclusive. And at toddler time, the parents are very much involved as well.
Do the parents stay when you're teaching the children?
Oh, yes. Well, for toddler time, yes, which is for ages 2 to 5. I'm not licensed as a daycare, and nor do I want to be. So, the parents get into it too, and I think that's great. And it enables these children to be working with materials and processes and meeting other children, and, without parents having to, on top of all of their many responsibilities, to have to pull together all of these supplies and then the cleanup process, it just makes it that much easier for them to do.
Well, that's nice. I'm sure that they really appreciate that, and the parents probably can help the kids to maybe carry some of the things that you teach them here home if they get bored at home.
Absolutely.
What a great concept. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about, are any of these things for sale, or do they get to take them home, or do they leave their artwork here?
Sometimes
like-
things get left, but largely they take them home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that you support other local artists in our area by doing things on consignment. Can you share with our viewing audience a little bit about how that works?
Sure. I invite local artists as I see them fitting in with the feeling of the spirit of this place, how I envision it. And I only have a couple of artists right now that I'm working with, but I hope to work with many more as I do have some space here. And I know people are often looking for gifts to accompany, a floral arrangement or what have you. So I have Jamie Bittner, who is a local here in Penn Valley. She also has traveled a number of places, including Japan, and she collected beautiful sea glass. And so she's made necklaces with the sea glass, and those are available here on sale.
Okay, now you said a magic word. What is the spirit of this place?
The spirit of this place.
Yeah.
It is, to me, intended to be a place for the community to gather and have fun. I want to have more offerings even than just flowers and the visual arts. I sing and I play a number of instruments. I'd like to host a monthly family sing-along.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And get a piano in here. I also do a movement art called Eurythmy, which is where we speak with our body, we sing with our body, we work with poetry, we work with music, and I set up one of my rooms as a movement space. It can double as a movement space. So we use it for our art classes, but it could also be cleared away. Someone could come in and teach yoga classes to families or children or adults. And I will also, at some point, offer puppet shows to
Sounds
children
like
and their
fun.
families.
Wow, you've got all kinds of things in your spirit.
Yeah,
So
I want to
that's-
do everything.
That's great. Well, I wish you continued success in your future endeavors, and I thank you for being with us today. And like I said, have fun, and that sounds like you are. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Trudy. So my friend Bella Foster just recently moved to the area, and she is a professional commercial artist. And I have a couple of her pieces hanging here in the shop. This one she did is ink and watercolor, and it's a delightful picture full of little creatures. We have, and here's the second piece that I have hanging from Bella Foster. It is a second edition print of an original silk screen, and it's of Central Park. And she will, at some point in the near future, we will have prints available for purchase. And here is Jamie Bittner's sea glass pendant jewelry. So the gal that helps me out with toddler time, Michaela Owens, she's a local girl, and she has a pet parrot, an eclectus parrot, named Tiberius Squawkbird Edwards Owens, I believe. And he comes in every now and again to visit us during toddler time. And this was from a project a few weeks ago. It's a movable, I guess I would call it a mobile bird sculpture of tie-tie.